What's going on, everybody? So today we are going to do a comparison between the Colt 1911C, and I believe the C stands for Classic, which this is their classic government model Colt, and the Tisas Service Special. So these two guns. This is the closest one. There's just a few slight differences. But this is the closest one I have to the Colt, so that we're not getting any, oh, but that's got a beaver tail and an extended magwell and all these other extras. These things are very, very similar, with basically the exception of the hammers. And that's Mox Nix. That doesn't mean anything, man, right? They even have the short triggers, all that kind of jazz. So we're gonna go in, we're gonna take a look at these two. Then we're gonna discuss pros and cons, QC issues, because we got a Colt on the table, so we got some of that. But we have a few with this particular Tisas too, and price and overview, and then I'll give you, my opinion on which one is better. So let's just look at the Colt first. As stated before, this is the full-size government model. It's got improved sights, so they're a little bit taller than, let's say, GI military models. It's got the spur hammer as opposed to the ring hammer, commander style hammer on that one. It's got the standard grip tang, standard grip safety, flat mainspring housing, double diamond wood grips, short trigger, standard thumb safety, standard slide stop slide release, standard mag release. It comes with one 7-round magazine. Colt is famous for that stuff. So like I said before, this is their standard commercial 1911. It does have a blue finish, which does have some flaws in it. I can pick it up on camera. Now let's look at the Service Special. Notice anything similar? They basically have the same height sights, same slides, same thumb safety, same grip tang and grip safety, flat mainspring housings, short triggers, standard mag release, standard slide stop slide release. They are different finishes. This one, I believe this might be a Parkerization. I'm not sure. I don't think it's Cerakote or anything, but it is a cheaper finish than doing the bluing. This one also has the blacked out barrel, whereas this one has the standard silver barrel, but they are almost identical other than that. So which one do I think, let's just cut to the chase, which one do I think is better? Well, for the money, I'm going to go with the Tisas, but this Colt is probably, I'm not going to lie, out of all 5 of the Colts I have, this one probably, I could say this one's probably the most accurate, really close, and it's got the best trigger, and it was the cheapest one. So these retail for right around $900, I think. Well, I'm not sure what they retail for. I know what you can get them for, right around $900. They hover around the $889 range. That's what I paid for this one, was $889. But being a Colt, we can't get away with having everything done just right on the gun. So let's go over some of the issues with this gun, and then we'll go over some of the issues with the Tisas. One, it's not fit properly. You see that right there? Let me zoom in on some of this stuff. So you see the fit right there? Right there? You see that? It protrudes past the slide, past the back of the slide. Look at it. That's poor fit. It's poor fit. That should be kind of blended. Look at that. Thumb safety. My issue I have with the thumb safeties. Now it's positive because I put a Wilson Combat spring in it. Look at that. And look at the movement in there. I'm going to show you something about this plunger tube, and then look at that. That's ridiculous right there. Ridiculous. Okay. finish issues. This one has, see that dot right there? Can you see it on camera? Look at that. And I don't know if it's picking it up. They're almost, if you get it in the right light, the frame, the polished side right here in the frame, or brushed polish, whatever they call it, and the slide are almost two different colors. Let me see if I can get it on the other side. Kinda, this one seems like it's a deeper blue, and this is lighter than the frame. Kind of see it right there. But again, there's that issue, that little, see that dot right there? And it's actually, if you look at it, you can actually see it's raised up right there. So there's that issue. Let me show you the, again, the rattly Colt grip safety. That's normal for Colt. But let me show you, I don't even know if I can get it back together. You know what? Let me show you the Tisas first, because once I take this apart and show you what's going on with the plunger spring, it's going to be hard to get it back together without a tool. And you know what? I'll show you what's wrong with these, and then I'll compare the two. So, again, Commander Ring Hammer, right? The only real issue I have with this gun, honestly, is it's got the same safety stuff. It does have, so it's got the same safety thing going on. Now, if you don't know what the issue with that is, it should stop. It should stop right there. And you should get no more downward movement if it is fitted properly. But these both do the same thing. Okay, so there's that. And this one is also, but just barely, not as much as the Colt. Let's compare the two. Look how much space there is on the Colt with the ejector and the bottom of the frame hanging out the back. And now the Tisas. This one's just barely, but it is not, and I'm not expecting them to hand blend them. On a higher end gun, you would get that perfectly blended in before it's finished. So that's really the only two issues with this gun, is thumb safety, it's not fit properly, and there's a little bit overhang. Now, sights are almost identical. However, let's zoom this in again. A lot of zooming in on this one. Sights are almost identical, right? Look at the two rear sights. But what do you notice on the Tisas? It's serrated. And I got the same thing. Let me get this one in with the front sights. Okay, look at the front sights. Basically same thing, except, see, get the Tisas in. It's serrated. Let me just put it that way. It is, I don't know why it's having such a problem picking that one up, but it picked the Colt one up. But it is serrated, okay? It's, there we go. That's you can kind of see it right there. So they're almost identical sights. The rear sight is a little bit thicker and beefier than on the Colt. But they're essentially the same height, style, all that stuff. Now, what do you notice about the firing pins? Colt here on the right, Tisas on the left. The firing pins are different. The Tisas comes with the titanium firing pin. The Colt comes with the standard one. Now, these are the grips that come on the Colt. These are aftermarket grips. I got them off Amazon for like 20 bucks. They're really good looking grips. This one comes with a standard, let me see if I got okay. Yeah, I got it right down here. So you get two sets of grips with this one. You get there's your formed and forged and after. So you get a standard set of cheap plastic grips. You get black and you get brown. No double diamond. They're just standard, but they work. But again, that was a $329 gun. Okay, $329. This was $889. So I could get two of these and a bunch of ammo for the price of this. And this is a better gun. The reason I'm saying it's better is listen to the grip safety. Right, there's no movement. Now listen to the grip safety of the Colt. Look at that. And I'll do the Tisas again. Okay. Trigger is better on this gun. It really is. You know what? We'll get a weight to see what the difference is, and we'll get a trigger pull. Trigger pull is better on this gun. Sights are better just because they're serrated and the Colt's not. They shoot pretty much, the accuracy, it's a wash. Okay. The reliability, same, both very reliable. Oh, this one has a lowered and flared ejection port. That's one of the other differences before I forget. This one just has a lowered ejection port. Okay. So accuracy is very similar. Reliability, same. Price, big difference. This one's 2.5 times the cost of this one, basically. And it's kind of a crapshoot with Colt. This is really the only Tisas that I have the safety issue on, and I own probably 10 or more of these of 1911 Tisas 19. Well, no, I have the PX9, the striker fired one, so probably 8 or 9, might be 9 Tisas 1911s at this point. And as I'm filming this video, and this is the only one that I really have this problem with, but the trigger is fantastic on it. So, you know, I'm going to change that out or fix that a little bit anyway. But, well, let's get all the trigger pulls and weights and all that kind of stuff. And then I will take that Colt apart, like I said, to show you. Okay, so let's see what the Colt is first. Empty. And then we'll put the magazine on there. So the Colt is 35.76, and then we'll put this factory supplied magazine, 38.16 with the factory supplied empty magazine. Don't put ammunition in there because you can get different grains and weights, and it just, you know. All right, the Tisas with not the factory grips, 36.53, and the factory supplied magazine, 39.06. So I believe this one's a little bit heavier. All right, and now let's get the trigger weight on them if my cheap scale is going to cooperate. And it just might. So .350, .394, .360. So look at that. 350, 360, and 394. So that's probably hovering around right 3.7 something. I'm not going to average it, but it's under 4-pound trigger. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This thing has a phenomenal trigger. When I was blown away. I said, "Whoa, that trigger on this thing!" And again, $329. Of course, that did not include. There's some people out there, well, that didn't include transfer fee and taxes and shipping and what. You're right, it did not. I do not include that though, because transfer fees, taxes, sometimes you get them from no shipping deals, sometimes you get it for free shipping, sometimes it's expensive shipping, all depending on where you live. All those costs are variable, so they depend on how much, on where you live if you purchase it. So now let's try the Colt. .328. I'm telling you, this Colt has got a phenomenal trigger on it, way better than my custom competition ones. .336. And .402. So we could probably say, again, they have very similar triggers. This one's a little bit, maybe crisper. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, but this one definitely feels a little bit better, even though they're the same weight. So again, before I take this apart and show you this, which is ridiculous, if I had to do it over again, well, don't get me wrong, I like the Colt. I'm a fan of Colts, but given all the issues, and I haven't even really shown you the biggest one that I have with this Colt, and then the price on top of that, I would say this is a better pistol and it's a better value. And I'll tell you what, I would not hesitate using this pistol at all for home defense, self-defense, concealed carry. If you carry a big 1911, I occasionally do, just because, if I get bored, you know. I would not honestly, hesitate using either one of them. But if you're getting essentially the same gun, minus the blued finish, for $329 as opposed to $889, to me, it's a no-brainer. I would go with this Tisas all day long. I really would. Now, if you are a fan of Colts and you like the brand name and brand and everything else, and you like the blued finish on here, although, like I said before, well, here, look, you could kind of see it here. It looks like the slide is a little bit lighter than the frame, and the finish issues it has on the slide right there, and all the issues I've pointed out. If the money does not matter to you and you just want a Colt, go get you a Colt all day long. There's something magical, I guess, about a Colt and Colt brand, or at least in our imaginations, the nostalgia that comes along with Colt, as opposed to some random Turkish brand that you have no idea who they are, but that they offer essentially the same pistol for 2.5 times less money. I'm just saying, economically, this one does not make sense. Emotionally, if that's what you're going for, and you got a lot of money and you don't care, and this is what you want, go get you one all day long. But what I'm telling you is, these are essentially identical pistols, minus the things I pointed out, and this one is so much less money. So much less. Now, let's wrap this up. Let me set this one aside. But let's wrap this up, and I'm going to take apart. I'm just going to take the, real quick, I'm just going to do this. This is not normally, it's not normally how I take a 1911 down, but I'm going to do it this way. Because there's several different ways to take them down. Right. Look at this. Now, that should not be like that. As a matter of fact, this goes in the opposite way. The way this is supposed to go in, this is the way it came from the factory, by the way. I put it back together when I was like, what is going on? This is the way it should go in, but it comes in from back here, okay? So normally you're supposed to take that off, and that's how you get your plunger tube spring and bits out. But it was backwards in the plunger tube. And the reason, let me zoom in on this. The reason this has a little shelf, come on, pick up. Okay, see that little shelf right there on that piece? That's because the hole is supposed to be smaller. It's drilled right through. Look at that. The hole should be smaller on this end. And that little shelf right there prevents it from flying out. You should not be able to do this on 1911. The way you should have to take this apart is take the grip safety off and pull this out this way. It also prevents it from protruding too far, so you don't have to use a tool to push it back in. That's why I said I'm not going to be able to put this back together but it should come out about that far. But this was turned around backwards. like that, as you guys saw, from the factory. When I took it apart to clean it the first time, because it came like rusty as hell and all this other kind of stuff, I was like, what is going on here? This should not protrude this way. Then I tried to flip it around and it doesn't even really work. I see why whoever put this gun together in the factory put it back like that, because it doesn't work the way it's supposed to. So that's ridiculous for an $800 gun. You know, let me show you by comparison. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, I'm just going to take this one down like this. So I'm going to take the whole thing apart. Look, I can't. That is getting tension all the way across here. That should spring out. But it's not. It's not. This is, look at this. Look at it. Push it back in. So I have individual reviews on each of these pistols, but I wanted to make a little comparison because I was looking at them like, wow, these are very similar guns. And I cannot for the life of me, don't tell me a blue job is worth $550 plus more for them to blue it. Bull crap. I don't buy that. And I'm struggling to see the value in the Colt other than the name. I would go with this one all day long. So that's just my opinion, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.